Farming for me has been a great career. It's always what I wanted to do, and now I'm getting near the end of it. It's more about helping leave things better for the next generation.
In an ideal world, we could make it financially viable for a family member to come back and farm this farm and love this farm the way we have, and see the progression that's going to go on, see how things are going to look in the future.
My wife Kathy and I, we bought this farm in 1999, and we've since added the dairy unit to it. 308 hectares of total land area. 35 or so is pine trees, native bush, some of it's old established stuff, as well as some regenerating area. Predominantly dairy, a wintered herd of about 490 cows. Kathy and I employ a contract milker to run that farm, rearing annually about 160 calves, not all replacements. We also have a small flock of 300 ewes which we lamb down each year. In 2016, the dairy farm next door to our dry stock unit came up for sale. It was at that point that the Plan Change 1 came in existence. From the Waikato Regional Council, you then had to apply for a consent to do land change use. So first and foremost, before we bought the dairy farm, we had to go through a scenario of what we were looking at.
We learned a lot as we went. We were lucky that we had good consultants who were able to help us along the journey, or maybe we would have said, it's too hard, we're not even going to go there.
With that process, it did make us look at all our processes, particularly around environmental issues and areas that perhaps needed to be farmed in a different way to what they had been. It made us look harder at the whole picture. When we put the farm together, we realised that the dairy farm we did buy did have a very high nitrogen reference point and had a high stocking rate. Along the way, we have mined that back. The things we have concentrated on is better efficient animals in the dairy cow, reduced nitrogen on our pastures, the strategic planting or retiring of land, and on our dry stock area, some strategic use of 300 ewes to help soil erosion. They are more a tool into some of our steeper country, which isn't great even with young stock on. They'll mark it up too much. We do have some areas of Pinus radiata. Some are already here, but we have added some more since we've done our resource consent. They were predominantly areas that were steepish, south-facing areas, which, you know, had little swamps and whatnot. It's just making that land a little bit more useful in the time that it's out of pasture production. The farm we bought had awesome P levels that are into the 70s and 80s. Our fertiliser levels on our dry stock area, which most of it cannot be cropped, are sitting around the high teens, early 20s. But on the dairy farm, we're sitting in that mid-30s, which is optimum for this type of soil we have, which is predominantly Myra ash. The one change we've made has just been getting better efficient cows. It has mostly come about through breeding. It's just getting more production from your cows. With efficiency comes extra production as well as less replacements, and that helps with our methane targets. My wife Kathy has done an awful lot of native planting.
It all started when I saw native seedlings popping up in our own garden, and I thought, why waste these? Why can't I grow them on and plant them out? Anywhere I went, I saw spare seedlings going to waste. I brought them home if I could, and so I just try and do some planting each winter. We're starting to see results now. I tried to be pretty selective on where I place my plants so that we're not getting excessive shade. The plant protectors have been amazing. Because I don't spray out the grass before I plant, the protectors have helped protect against drought. We've had very little trouble with hares eating the trees. Protectors are so good that I've been able to strip them off once the plant's big enough and reuse them again. I can now see the results of the efforts we're putting into the planting. We're starting to see some regeneration of native seedlings in some of the areas of bush that we've fenced off where stock would have grazed. Seeing the streams running cleaner, seeing more life in the streams. We are seeing a lot more bird life. We're especially seeing lots of tuis in our garden. It is really cool to see these native birds and that the land's just looking better and healthier for the changes we've made.
I think most people that go into farming will always want to leave things better for the next generation. When it comes to reducing emissions, I don't think it's really difficult, it's just a time process. And whether that process is dealing with your farm environment plan, nitrogen and stock numbers and whatnot of that, you do have to put some time into it, and unfortunately that costs money, but it's still rewarding.
As a result of the changes that we've made on the farm, particularly the reduction in stock numbers and nitrogen fertiliser use, our greenhouse gas emissions have reduced. We've got a responsibility because we're working with nature, and so that's where it all starts. We want to make it as good as we can and be as responsible as we can about what we do to preserve what we've got.
When you see our wee grandsons, you hope that one or two of them may want to farm. If the time comes, you hope they've got an example that they can see, and it'll set them on a good path.